We're back. It's your boy Will and your girl Joelle. What's good?
What's good?
We're here to talk today about females in the music industry. I want to really get into the meat of sort of the problems that you've faced, how you've overcome them, advice you want to give to young women,
Right.
Especially like what we as men can do better in the industry, because we are far from perfect.
Yeah.
Far from perfect.
Well, to start, I would say that being a woman in the industry, unfortunately, a lot of guys don't take you seriously, and that's really frustrating, especially when you're trying to get something done and stuff like that. A lot of men producers that I've worked with, how do I say it? How condescending some of them can be. They're not aware of like my knowledge or something like that, and how condescending they can be. That's frustrating. And then like, you know, of course, like the sexual shit, like to the men, like we really don't fucking have time for that. Like I can almost guarantee you, like, girls do not come to the studio to fuck. Like,
yeah.
if a girl is serious about, you know, making her music, like, we're not there to fuck. And
you're there to work.
Exactly. Right. And so I think it's just like a level of respect, like having a respect for who you're working with, you know what I'm saying? And also finding a producer that you trust. Like, of course I'll go record wherever Malik tells me to record, because I trust him, because I built that relationship with him. Same with a few others, like, you know, if I was to record with Tech, Eli, I would go wherever he told me to record, because I know him, you know what I'm saying? Right. Another guy producer or any other male producer. Actually, there's a few, like Dylan Turner, I would go record with him, but couldn't really tell you many more. Charlie Mumbles too, but other than that, like any other guy producer I've ever worked with, like they just want to fuck.
Yeah.
That's it.
So how have you sort of dealt with that mindset that men have, and like what advice do you have to men who sort of maybe go into it with that mindset because maybe that's all they've ever known, just because that's the culture they've been raised in?
I don't know. I would just say, like, I would be upfront, but also too, like, if you know a girl is just coming there to record, if she says like I'm coming to work, like, I feel like it's just a respect thing. Like, you shouldn't even try. To me, it's common sense.
Right.
But I guess I don't really know, because I don't know the culture that men grew up in. I know the culture that I grew up in, and I know how, like, I've had to navigate through whatever culture men have been brought up in. So I don't really know. I don't know what advice to give, except for just respect the artist that you want to work with. You know what I'm saying? Like,
educate yourself
right.
as a man on what it means to be respectful to a woman.
Right.
How to work in a way that represents equality.
Right.
And remove that condescending tone
right.
that maybe some men have when they are working with a female artist.
Right. And when you're working in music, like, there is a level of intimacy there, like, because you're working, like, you're creating something, but there are such things as platonic intimacy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can have an intimate relationship with your producer, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know how to explain it, and it's not romantic, but you guys just get each other and you guys have a connection, but there's respect. So It's like, I don't know, just like me personally, like, if I've ever dealing with producers who don't respect me, I'm just like not working with you ever again.
Right.
I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I'm not working ever again, just because I feel like women in the industry, there's a lot of women who work very, very, very hard and have had to go through much more shit than I've had to go through. I'm lucky because I have a dad who will come and do whatever. I have him, you know what I'm saying? But there's a lot of women who have gone through worse things than I've gone through. And I just feel like, I don't know, I just feel like we need to protect ourselves more. Right. And the men that we work with should also look to protect us too.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, sure. I feel like, especially like when you're making music and stuff, if you love it that much and you respect the artist that you're going to work with, male or female, you know what I'm saying? I just think it just boils down to the simple fact of respect. Like, I know that I always use Malik as an example because I've known Malik since I was 17, like I said, and
right.
he's never tried anything, you know what I'm saying? There's just always been that level of respect. But also, too, I think we both understand, like, that's not even where we're trying to go, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not even an option.
With the end goals. And the end
right,
game,
exactly. And so, like, and also, too, like, Malik, like, if we were ever out, he would never let anybody fuck with me, you know what I'm saying?
He's an example.
Right.
Malik is an example. Listen close.
No, but I just think that, like, it's, you know, I don't know. I just think it's just a level of respect. You have to work with producers who are serious. Like, a lot of these producers really are not serious. Like, they don't give a fuck. They don't care about female artists in general. Like, a lot of, and you'll be surprised how many, like, producers, like, really don't think females can make it in the industry. Like, you'll be surprised how many, and they're just like, yeah, come over. Like,
so what do you think is the number one issue that women face in the industry today, whether they're already established female artists, whether up and coming female artists? What is the number one issue you think they face today? And that can be in music industry as a whole, or that can be in the different subgenres of the industry, so like hip hop, pop, or alternative.
I just think it's lack of respect. That's it. Yeah, I think it's just like, have respect. Like, just really have respect for the people that you work with, like, female or male in general. Right. I think it's about respect. I could go on about this just because I've dealt with a lot of bullshit, and I've had to deal with men, and you know what I'm saying, but I really just think it's respect.
Sure. And so for men that maybe don't understand what it is or what respect looks like to a woman, what is your definition of respect? How should we be treating you in the industry? How should producers be treating you? How should people like me be treating you? What does respect look like coming from a man to a woman?
First of all, don't make any gestures about anything, about any type of sexual anything. Like, don't fucking do that. Like, don't do that. Just don't. Like, that's number one. Like, that's like common sense 101. Don't do that. You know what I'm saying? And listen, I guess, like, listen to what the artist is saying.
Seems simple.
Yeah, just listen. And it really is not that hard. I just think it's just like, I feel like if you already have an agenda in your mind, like, oh, this new girl is about to come over and we're about to make a track, but you really don't want to make a track, like, don't fucking waste my time. Like, and that's goes for every single male who's working with a female. Like, if you have a different motive, don't waste her time. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of girls out here who are working hard trying to get it, and it is hard. You know what I'm saying? I got lucky. I got really, 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 really lucky, because thank God I met Malik, and thank God, like, we've known each other since way back when, because the producers I met after him, besides Charlie Mumbles, just like not even worth my time, and just so disrespectful. Like, I've had instances where I've been in the studio, like, telling producers, like, hey, you should do this because I know what I'm talking about, and they're just like, yeah, whatever, you don't know what you're talking about.
Comes back to that condescending mentality that they have,
mansplaining and shit like that. And then, like, we're sitting in the studio for another fucking 30 minutes because you're trying to figure out what I just told you what to do, and it's like, we can sit here, that's fine.
Hey, have some I think what I'm hearing you say is have some humility.
Yeah, and respect, like, mainly just like
respect,
have some
humility.
Respect, like, really, really, really. Like, I do think that male and female dynamics are important, and I do think that they're very powerful. I'm not saying, like, I don't ever want to work with a man. I don't do that. No, I do think that they're important, but I think that there just needs to be respect. Like,
you want to work with a specific type of man. You want to work with a man, not a boy.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, that's totally understandable. I'd like to just to sort of have you kind of talk about what that feels like to be disrespected, to have someone condescend you, to go through that sort of painful experience. And, like, how do you get through that? What advice do you have to upcoming female artists who are maybe going through or have gone through it? I think that's something.
Speak up. You say something. Like, do not speak the fuck up. Like, I always say something to anybody. Like, don't play with me. Like, that's just how I've had to navigate through it, because like, if I don't speak with my chest, they're like, well, I can still do this. Like,
Sure.
let somebody take an inch and they'll take a mile. You know what I'm saying?
So
I would say speak up.
Where do you think that confidence, strength, and strength to speak up, where do you think that comes from? I think it takes a lot of courage.
Yeah, I think it's courage, but I think it's also like the way that my dad raised me and my sister. Like, my mom and my dad. Like, my dad is very like, very quiet, very humble, super like reserved, but he's with the shits. And so that's how me and my sister are. Like, we're with the shits, and it's like, don't play with me. You know what I'm saying? But there's a lot of girls out there who are a little bit more timid and a little bit more reserved, which I understand. You know what I'm saying? I have friends like that who don't always feel like they can speak up and say, like, don't play with me. You know what I'm saying? And that's unfortunate, you know, because then there's like guys who feel like, oh, I can get away with this because she didn't say anything. Sure. And I guarantee you the guys who have tried something on me have definitely tried it on other girls, and probably still try it on other girls. You know what I'm saying? So I think I just get it from my dad and my mom and the way I was brought up. And, you know, we were raised on like tough love, and it just made us tough. So yeah. Yeah,
absolutely. I think we're getting close to the end of our time. I'm really glad we had a chance to talk about this issue and really bring it to light, because I think that it's time that we start seeing a change, that we start seeing a revolution. And I really thank you for taking your time to sit down and have this conversation with us. On that note, what's a last word or piece of advice you might have for female artists? Something to leave everybody with.
I would just say, like, don't get discouraged, and don't let anybody make you feel small. Don't let anybody make you feel inferior at all, because you're not. Like, no woman is. Don't let anyone, sorry, my phone, don't let anybody make you feel like you're less than them.
Right on.
That's main thing.
Facts. Thank you, Joelle. Peace out, Mood fam.